我叫一种办法，我要抓。Yeah.
Whoa, this is crazy. The police are arresting.
What's up? What's up, man? What's going on?
The wilderness can feel peaceful until something crosses the line between distant and dangerously close. One camper later discovered a stranger had entered her tent, while another heard his dog cry out after being attacked in the darkness. What would you do if something unseen came too close to your camp? This story comes from Bunny and Beyond Van Life, a channel documenting the raw side of life on the road, including stressful encounters with authorities. On June 29, 2025, she was parked at Fox Glen Park.
Imagine this. You're sitting peacefully inside your own van in a public park. You're not making any noise and you're not outside bothering anyone. You're working remotely from your laptop in your van. Then all of a sudden, you get the knock. It's a police officer. They're threatening to arrest you if you don't leave in a half hour. This isn't a movie. This is real life. This happened to me in Flagstaff, Arizona at Fox Glen Park.
In Flagstaff, Arizona, nothing appeared unusual. The van sat in a public parking area, the park remained open, and there was no visible trouble. Then a police cruiser pulled in. The officers watched her van and aimed a bright light through the window. To her, it did not seem like a casual check. It felt like an inspection, and suddenly the people outside controlled the situation.
The police knock on your house door, but it's a little bit different. It's gonna be trouble. You're either going to be asked to move, they're going to suspect you're doing something wrong, or you're facing another threat. He knocked on my door, he shone his big bright light in my van like he was searching it, and said it looked like I was camping. I told him the park is still open, and it felt like he was just harassing me.
The officers asked why she was inside the vehicle. The term camping was mentioned immediately, even though there was no evidence she was camping. She stayed inside and would not open the door. Soon, another officer arrived, increasing pressure. Both officers asked her to come outside, but she declined. The discussion turned into a disagreement about park rules. She maintained that she was sitting inside her vehicle at a public park, while the officers interpreted things differently. For people living in vans, that is where the gray area begins. Simply parking or resting can quickly be viewed as illegal camping, even though nothing about the vehicle has changed.
Does that work for you?
You already told me that the first time you came and harassed me. You said you thought I was camping.
We got called here because people are suspected to be camping.
Here's the thing, I'm in a van. That says so much more. He didn't even need to say it again. Now, there were other people in the parking lot, and I'm sure they were van lifers as well.
Eventually, the officers gave her a deadline and warned that remaining after that time would count as an offense. She agreed to leave within the time frame, but continued asking why. They issued a warning and drove away. Nothing physical happened that night. The encounter escalated because of how her presence was interpreted. So when an ordinary parking space becomes a legal gray area, who gets to determine what is happening? A bright parking lot may seem safer than an unlit road, but for Ian, one evening in California showed that even a public location can become unpredictable. Ian's channel is fresh positive and centered on the freedom that comes with living simply. He calls it car life rather than van life because he is not trying to build an image. He is simply living from his vehicle in whatever way works for him. On Saturday, January 13th, 2024, Ian had just completed a 10-hour shift and stopped outside a McDonald's in California. It appeared to be a practical place for stealth camping, lit, active, and surrounded by people. He was relaxing and nearly asleep when he heard something directly outside his car door.
What's going on, man? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? Hey, bro. What's up? What you doing, man? Man, you fucking weird, bro. What the hell, man? Oh, man, I'm shaking, dude. I had my whole setup. I was sleeping back there, dude. Oh, man, he tried to open my door. And then you guys saw that. He wasn't saying anything, man. Dude was a freaking zombie, dude. I don't even have my glasses on. I can't be driving.
Ian made the safest decision he could. He drove off, using the car not only as shelter, but also as an escape. What disturbed him afterward was realizing that he had watched similar things happen to other stealth campers. Like many others, he assumed those situations only happened to somebody else, but Ian had not acted carelessly. He was in a well-lit public area inside his vehicle and had done nothing to attract attention. Yet it happened. Public spaces often feel safer because of lights, cameras, and people nearby. But late at night, you cannot control who enters the area or how they behave. Ian learned that an ordinary parking lot can change within seconds when you are sleeping inside a vehicle. Maybe it was just a strange person walking past, or maybe the situation could have become worse. What would you have done? Remain quiet, confront the person, or drive away immediately? Mary is the woman behind Maximalist Minibus, a YouTube channel, where she documents her outdoor lifestyle, campground habits, and life around her bus. Most of her videos are peaceful and straightforward, but in a video posted on September 10th, 2025, that calm atmosphere was broken by something she never expected to capture. After delaying it for more than a year, Mary finally installed a solar-powered trail camera close to her tent. She expected it might record raccoons, deer, or small animals wandering through the campsite overnight. Instead, the camera captured a stranger entering her space while she was gone.
I've had this camera for at least a year, maybe more, maybe even 2 years. And I searched for it because I wanted one that had its own power so I could put it anywhere. It has the solar panel, and then it also has inside this little door, it has battery backup. You're supposed to put batteries in it. The batteries are like C batteries, or it's 4 AA's. So I got to get AA batteries. But the reason I haven't set it up is because it takes an SD card. You know, I don't have any this small. It only takes it could only be a maximum 32 megabyte SD card. And finally, I was at Walmart and I remembered. So I got an SD card. So now tonight I can set this up. I'm going to put the camera on this little footstool that I always put in front of my tent when I close it up for the night. It's basically just shooting right next to the bus. But for the first night, I don't even know if it's set up right. So I'm just going to leave it here.
She set the camera on a footstool near the tent, aiming it toward the bus and surrounding campsite. The arrangement was simple and almost casual. But the following morning, Mary noticed that something was not right. Her tent had been opened from the top downward in a way that did not appear accidental. At first, she almost dismissed it. Then she remembered the camera. After reviewing the footage, she discovered that someone had been there during the middle of the night.
In the first part, it shot at like 8:30, and it just got like some campers walking to the restroom. And then at 2:30, you should see these headlights. So it looks like the car's coming from around, or I don't know, or I don't think it's a camper. And then it's a pickup truck that goes by. I don't recognize it. It could belong to a camper, but I know most of those cars. It's not a vehicle I recognize. Let's start with that. But right after it goes by, keep your eye on this over here. He's got glasses on that are shining. He's got on a baseball cap, and here he comes. He walks across. See, he's got a trash bag, it looks like. And I thought at first he had a backpack on. And then it missed the first part of him, but then he comes back with a flashlight. He's coming around probably checking out what's on that table. Now he's shining the flashlight in through the mesh of the tent, trying to see what's inside the tent. And he's going like probably over to the golf cart to see what's in the golf cart. Around, I think he must probably go around the bus and come back again, because give it a second, he's going to come back. There he goes. And this time, he's not going to just look inside the tent. This time, yeah. He moves the camera. He moves the camera. I guess he doesn't know it's a camera. He's inside the tent for all. You can hear him plunking around, moving things. And then the movement stops, so the camera kind of stops recording. At
around 2 a.m., an unknown pickup truck passed by the campsite. Moments afterward, a man emerged from the darkness. He wore a baseball cap and glasses with what appeared to be a trash bag draped over his shoulders to shield himself from the rain. What made the footage especially disturbing was how relaxed he appeared. He was in no hurry. He walked around the campsite, swept a flashlight across Mary's belongings, looked near the tent, and then came back for a closer inspection. At one point, he pointed the flashlight straight through the tent's mesh, trying to see inside. Then he moved the footstool, seemingly unaware that the camera was positioned on top of it. Afterward, he opened the tent and stepped inside. For several minutes, he remained there, going through her belongings in the darkness. A trail camera can reveal what happened afterward, but it cannot prevent someone from entering a campsite. That is what makes the footage so disturbing. Mary only learned later just how close a stranger had come to her private space. But you can hear him still, but you can't see him. There he goes. Now he comes out, but he's got a trash bag, and he's wearing a trash bag. It's not a backpack.
but it was pouring rain last night. So I've been looking around trying to figure out what he took. I mean, the most obvious thing would have been this tablet. I mean, I don't leave my laptop in here. He didn't take it. Then again, it's kind of old school. Maybe I don't know. My printer's here. This is a good printer. He didn't take that. Those would probably be good if you were camping or something. Maybe, I don't know. He didn't take them. Elvis glasses. Yeah, all this stuff is still here. My hummingbird feeder is still here. He didn't take that. Squirrel feeder, this is it. It's not assembled yet. I do have a toolbox in here, and it's got a lot of small tools, you know, things that he could have taken, and he didn't take those either. It doesn't really look like he took anything. I don't really even know why he was here.
When the man eventually left, the most unusual detail was what he seemed to take. It was not electronics tools or anything obviously expensive. He appeared to take small everyday items such as hand sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, and toilet paper. That detail shifted the feeling of the incident. It did not resemble someone breaking in to steal money. It seemed more like a person living outdoors and taking whatever they believed they needed. But that did not make the situation any less unsettling. A stranger still entered her campsite, looked inside her tent, and stepped into the place where she normally slept. Maybe the man was simply trying to survive, or perhaps there was another reason he inspected her campsite so carefully. Either way, once a stranger enters the place where you sleep, that fear is difficult to forget. What would you have done after watching that footage? Stay there, move camp, or leave completely? Have you ever stood beneath a tree without checking what was above you? After seeing this video, you may start looking up every time. A group of people were spending time in a forest in South Africa, gathered beneath a tree. Then one person glanced upward and spotted something terrifying resting over them. It was an enormous snake, far bigger than anyone expected to encounter. Instead of staying back, a man named Scott decided he wanted to get it down, because some people believe that is what they should do when a snake is found nearby.
我叫一个办法，我要抓。Yeah， 在这个树上抓很难，我要让它下来。What do you think, guys? Yeah.
Just get some pictures for the lady as well.
The encounter was both fascinating and frightening. The snake was massive, almost like a creature from a fantasy film. It was a 4-meter African rock python. Fortunately, this species is not venomous. It is a constrictor, meaning it attacks from ambush bites, to secure its prey and then coils its body around the animal. Every time the prey exhales, the snake can tighten its hold. That pressure can prevent the body from functioning properly and may eventually cause cardiac arrest. These snakes are also capable of killing humans, although such cases are rare. Only a limited number of known incidents involve people dying from suffocation or asphyxiation. If the snake had also been venomous, the encounter would have been almost impossible to watch calmly. Maybe Scott felt confident, or perhaps he simply underestimated how powerful it was. But what would you have done if you looked up and saw something like that above you? Have you ever thought about what could happen to your campsite after leaving it unattended in the forest? This couple discovered the answer in a way that was both upsetting and terrifying. Gitchy Trips is a channel created by a couple who obviously enjoy adventure and the outdoors. Their videos focus on camping, exploring, traveling, and other memorable moments from their lives. They know how to make everyday life feel adventurous. One of the channel's most popular series follows the couple using a hot tent during different seasons, often in scenic wooded locations. They are cautious and take safety seriously because they know that in the wilderness, you are never entirely by yourself. In a video uploaded on June 17th, 2026, they went back to the hot tent they had left on their off-grid property. Their goal was to clean the land, remove some brush, and fix the trail leading toward the tent. What began as a quiet, relaxing outdoor video quickly became something far more disturbing.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Look what we're in. I think we're going to try it out anyway.
We hope.
I don't see as much trouble.
We'll see.
We're back from vacation, and we're going to head up to the tent now. Make sure she's not eaten by bears or whatever.
Yeah, we gotta get bug jackets out too.
Yeah, there's one big following us, so hopefully.
There's not a hat.
So anyway,
Wish us luck.
wish us luck. Oh, I already said that.
Should have took some garbage bags.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any in the tent.
I don't know. We'll see when you open her up.
Oh, we got some lumber.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, Jesus, there had been something there.
No, what we had was under the fire pit, and the fire pit's tipped over.
Oh my God, so warm.
Yeah.
Oh
Prepare
my God.
yourself. The flies are coming.
Oh, there was definitely something there. Somebody. I think it was something. So we got a bit of cleaning up.
Okay.
When they arrived, it was clear that something or someone had visited their campsite while they were gone. The good news was that no one appeared to be there at the time. At least that was what they believed. They started cleaning the area, cutting down tall stumps, inspecting the property, and spending time around the land as they normally would.
Chat, you got her new chainsaw. Look out now.
Yeah.
Careful.
Yep.
Woo! She just chopped that one like it was nothing. Most people like flowers and stuff.
Not this girl.
No, she loves the chainsaw.
Friggin' gooey bush.
Gooey bushes everywhere.
They ultimately did not stay inside the tent that night. Instead, they chose to leave and return home. Fortunately, that decision may have protected them from a far more frightening encounter, because something happened after they were gone. When they came back to the tent later, they discovered damage that could not be overlooked, especially since the shelter was located deep in the woods. This was more than a minor mess or an animal accidentally brushing against the material.
We got a few fly bites.
Or go to bed.
Yeah, that was the winner.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Wasn't for these bug jackets, we'd be killed.
Kinda happy we're not sleeping up here tonight now.
Yeah, the flies are crazy.
She's ripped open.
Holy
Something got in there.
yeah.
Badly too.
Oh my.
There was definitely a bear.
Well, that's just shit. Well, I got the trail camera to see it. Sake. What in the
Oh, he ripped her to shreds.
You goddamn rude, you did.
I'm afraid to see if he's still in there.
Oh,
Hey, bear! Hey, bear! It's a good thing we got truck up there. Sleeping bag and everything shredded.
not in there, is he? Oh my Jesus. Well, I suppose it was beer.
What else would it have been this size? We got to lug all this up the hill. Maybe we should have took side by side down.
Oh, frustrated. Went through the trail cam, and sure enough, bear got in there. So, yeah, we're trying to get everything cleaned out tonight, save what we can, and worry about taking it down after.
After cleaning up what they could, they eventually climbed back into their truck and drove away as darkness arrived. This did not seem like a bear showing simple curiosity. It had ripped through the tent and even torn apart their sleeping bag. That is what makes the entire situation so disturbing. They had spent the winter there and cooked at that location many times, so the tent probably still carried food odors. With nobody nearby, the bear may have used the opportunity to investigate. It is difficult not to imagine what might have happened if they had been inside when it came. In the end, they were unharmed, but the destruction served as a clear reminder that the forest is never completely empty. Wargay Bushcraft is a YouTube channel centered on survival and outdoor adventures. The channel gained popularity because the creator understands the wilderness and knows what he's doing. His experience can be seen in nearly every video he posts. Most of his videos feature camping trips with his dog, which is one reason viewers connect with the channel. Their relationship is strong, and sometimes it seems the dog understands him better than many people could. This video uploaded on May 30th, 2026 shows that clearly. In this adventure, he traveled deep into a remote forest with dense trees and swampy terrain. He already had a place in mind where he planned to camp. From the start, there were signs that wild animals had been passing through the area, but one sign was more concerning than the rest. In the first valley where they intended to camp, they discovered fresh bear tracks. Because bears had recently emerged from hibernation and were probably hungry, he decided the area was not a good place to remain. The last thing he wanted was an encounter with a mother bear and cubs, so he and his dog moved on to find a safer campsite. They moved toward another area that appeared more peaceful. After hiking for a while, he selected a spot with a clear line of sight and dead trees surrounding it, making nearby movement easier to detect. He collected enough firewood to last through the night, prepared food, and tried to reduce strong smells around the campsite as much as possible. In bear country, drawing attention is the last thing anyone wants. During the trip, he was also dealing with a cold and became extremely exhausted. After building the fire and cooking, he lay down on his back and fell asleep because of the fatigue. But the night was not finished. At some point, he woke to the sound of his dog barking. While he was attempting to switch on the camera, something attacked the dog roughly 50 meters from the campsite. The dog cried out in pain, and he immediately started making as much noise as possible to frighten away whatever was outside. Fortunately, the dog was all right. Once the dog returned to camp, he finally managed to turn the camera on. He still had no idea what had attacked the animal. Even if the attacker had been a bear leaving camp in the dark, might have been even more dangerous. The fire may have helped because wild animals can be confused or discouraged by flames, although that does not always work. The main problem was that the dog had been too far away from camp when the attack happened, so they remained where they were kept, the fire burning, built it higher, and watched the surrounding trees for any sign of danger. Dogs often detect danger before people notice anything, and in a dark forest that can cause them to react first. The dog may have heard something nearby and attempted to scare it away, but whatever was out there appeared much larger than him. By morning, both of them were safe, but it still makes you wonder whether you would feel safer camping alone or with a dog beside you. Nick Beddington normally shares singing videos and small moments from life with his family, but in a video uploaded on January 1st, 2013, he captured something different. While driving his truck, a wolf suddenly appeared ahead of him, and he began recording.
There's a wolf right here. There's a wolf right beside my truck.
After the footage was uploaded, viewers discussed why the wolf had come so close. Some believed it was looking for food, while others thought smells or sounds from the truck may have drawn its attention. A few people even suggested the wolf could have been interested in Nick himself, particularly if the animal was alone. The most likely explanation is simple curiosity. Wild animals sometimes approach unfamiliar vehicles, odors, or noises without intending to attack. Even so, opening the door or attempting to touch the wolf would have been dangerous. Nick may not have faced immediate danger, but seeing a wolf at that distance would frighten almost anyone. Maybe it was only curious, or perhaps something about the truck attracted it. If you were in Nick's position, would you remain calm and keep filming, or would fear take control? A couple was simply trying to make it through a rainy, fog-covered night. Then rangers and police showed up near their parking spot, and the peaceful routine suddenly began to unravel. The footage from that night comes from Steve and Audra, a van life couple who document full-time travel throughout North America. Their videos often reveal what living on the road looks like including the unexpected situations that can unfold while they work film and live from their van. The date is November 17th, 2025, and they are staying at Rialto Beach in Forks, Washington, United States. Right from the start, something about the situation feels unusual. Heavy rain, thick fog, and limited visibility make moving around difficult. Even their ordinary routine is being disrupted by the weather. They continue working and filming, which matters here. Their focus stays on the job in front of them rather than everything happening throughout the parking area. The place feels active and uncomfortable, but nothing has turned threatening yet. Then the atmosphere begins to shift.
Whoa, this is crazy. The police are arresting this guy right beside us.
Okay, you guys, so this is bonkers. When we came into the park, there were a lot of rangers and cops parked up. I'm totally soaked. I was just getting ready to...
Several vehicles, park rangers, and police are gathered near the parking area. At first, nobody gives a clear explanation, and that uncertainty alone makes the scene uncomfortable. Nothing has happened directly to Steve or Audra, but the presence of so many officials nearby is enough to make the entire area feel unpredictable. Then the situation becomes more intense. Officers start moving. Emergency lights are flashing. Weapons can be seen. Law enforcement is now actively controlling the area. Audra is outside while Steve remains inside the van, which leaves them without an easy way to communicate with each other.
The window was cracked and I thought, oh, someone left their window down, and then realized somebody was in there. I felt a little weird when we pulled up here because the window was cracked and then he was doing something like kind of down low. The door's open, there's like nothing in the back. And so, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it's really weird. So they're all still out there. So you were in here eating and I knew the curtain was down. Did you have any idea what was going on?
Yeah. So I had just made some cereal and all of a sudden I hear, "Driver, get out of the car, hands up," where we can see him. My heart just jumps out of my chest. We had noticed a gathering of park rangers and police officers. It had to be half a dozen cars just outside the entrance. Are they after me for some reason? Like, do they think I'm somebody else? And quickly realize they're dealing with the guy next door.
Could you hear much or see what's going on?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were like, "Driver, get out of the car, put your hands up." And then they were like, I guess they wanted to see if he had any weapons tucked in his pants or anything. And then they had him get on his knees.
Then the incident moves dangerously close. Commands can be heard nearby. The voices sound loud, forceful, and extremely close. For a moment, Steve misunderstands who those commands are being directed at. It briefly seems possible that the situation involves him, but it does not. After some time, the situation becomes easier to understand. This is an actual arrest, not a training exercise. The attention shifts away from Steve and Audra, and the scene gradually begins to settle. What makes the encounter so disturbing is not simply the arrest itself, it is how nearby everything happens, and how fast they lose control over the space around them. They're separated, unable to communicate easily, and unsure exactly how they fit into whatever is unfolding. Nothing directly happens to either of them, but for a short time it seems like something could. That uncertainty is what makes the moment memorable. One minute, they are simply trying to survive a difficult night on the road. The next, they are stuck beside a situation they never expected to encounter. If you were inside that van, would you stay silent and wait, or try to drive away as soon as you could? Our next disturbing video comes from Mad Aussie in the Arctic, a travel and van life channel centered on stealth camping in harsh environments. They frequently document overnight stops in restricted or semi-public places, recording the experience under real-world conditions. It is April 12th, 2025, and they have arrived at a marina-side parking area in Stavanger, Norway.
Just left us, and now, if you're going to stealth camp, you want to keep it max undercover. We've got this blackout blind that I bought on Amazon in England last summer, so we'll put that up.
From the beginning, the setup is carefully considered. Rather than using official facilities, they decide to park in an unofficial location. Because of that choice, their first priority is to remain unnoticed. The blackout blinds are raised, trapping every bit of light inside the van so nobody outside can see through the windows. Then something outside begins to change.
I don't know if you can see, but there's two police cars sitting on the other side of the road here. They weren't there before, I don't know what they're doing. They're on a stakeout or something. I just sit here for 10 minutes and see what they're doing. They might do a drive-by. Strange. 2 police cars. I don't know if you can see, but this boat in front of me...
A security vehicle appears and starts inspecting the area. It moves slowly, seemingly scanning the surroundings, and even pauses briefly. It never comes directly to the van, but it's still obvious that the area is under observation. At that point, the situation begins to feel uncomfortably close, even though no one has approached them yet.
They've passed, so I think we're in the clear. Shit, Nina. The security guard, he's driving off, so it's just the police now left. Where's the police? Over there. I've got the infrared blue lights on, so we're in stealth here. We're calling it a night. See you in the morning.
After some time, the tension starts to ease. Police and security are still outside, but nobody comes to the van, and the situation never develops into anything more serious. But the part that matters most is how long the uncertainty continues. The longer the vehicles remain nearby, the more tension builds inside the van despite nothing actually happening. The encounter never becomes a face-to-face confrontation. Instead, it remains completely silent, moving from hiding to being observed to feeling far too close for comfort. Nobody speaks to them, and nobody knocks on the door for the entire night. In the end, nothing happens, but it feels as though something easily could have. Sometimes the most frightening part is not being caught. It is sitting completely still in silence, wondering whether the next sound will be someone knocking at the door. What would you do if you were inside that van? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.